Hi all. Hi Day Gardens. Thanks for asking me to speak. So Day Gardens on my Instagram asked me to speak about the quote that I posted earlier by Dr. Gabor Mate. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Real compassion doesn't have to do with helping someone feel good. It has to do with guiding them to the truth, because it's the truth that will liberate them. I have so many examples of this, I wouldn't even know where to begin. But the one that comes to me that really just changed my life and changed the course of my life forever, really, was when my spiritual mama, teacher, friend, Cinnamon Lofton, Cinnamama, loved me enough to, because she had so much compassion for me, when she told me the truth, although it came across to my mind very harsh and very blunt, and she was a master at that, as well as her twin soul Heidi Grant. They both really know how to be the soul bomb and the bomb, hit you over the head kind of bomb that speaks to your heart, or at least spoke to mine, and definitely has set me free with just calling my ego out and calling anything a program that really no longer works for me. And they didn't do it in a way that calls me out. I'd like to actually not say that, because that kind of seems like busted, because it was so loving. And a lot of times in this world, you know, his truth, my truth, whose truth, all that people are, this is the truth. Well, the thing is, you know the truth when someone says it to you and you're like sucker punched in a way that doesn't feel good, and you just know it's true. You know it's true, and it's divine timing, and it's ready for you to hear. And so I wrote about this in a blog. So some of you may know this example, but it really was an awakening for me during this time. And it was about probably 10 years ago. And I was really struggling with raising my son, who was going into fits of rage over a broken cookie, just developmental issues. And it was like a scene out of a horror movie. It was really, I really scared myself, and it was very challenging. And so I remember exactly where I was sitting in the parking lot of Whole Foods parking lot in San Luis Obispo, speaking on the phone to Sin, and I was just bawling my head off, and I said, Sin, I feel like I'm an abused woman and I can't get a divorce. I mean, yeah, sure, I suppose we can all walk from our kids if we want to, and that wasn't an option for me. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. It just was not an option for me. I knew that was a no. And so, you know, if you're an abused woman with, or a man, either or partners, whatever kind of relationship you have, you know you're being abused, and you do tell yourself, hey, I could get a divorce. I could leave this situation. So I was often running away from being hit, and just buttons ripped off my, flying off my shirt and all sorts of things. And I definitely used to say I could be on the Oprah show. What, I went through with that. And it's hard to understand unless you are with a child that is raging and it doesn't matter what you do. Nothing matters. That rage continues. So anyway, I said to Sin, I feel like an abused woman and I can't get a divorce. And she said, you are an abused woman. And I was like, what? I mean, this is a 4-year-old child. A 4-year-old child can't abuse you. That's just not even possible. I mean, you're abused by adults. And what I had realized was, and what I came up with and knew, was that I was allowing myself to be abused because I felt sorry for him. And he didn't want me to feel sorry for him. He was perfectly imperfect, just the way he was. And he needed a mama that was, hey, it doesn't matter. You may have this challenge, but it does not have you. And this is unacceptable. I mean, if a cookie breaks, I'm not your punching bag, period. And I really fell to my knees on that one, because I realized that my self-esteem was that low that I was allowing myself to be abused. And I would say it has taken until stage 4 cancer. It has taken till the age of 13 where I have finally been willing to love myself enough to not accept any kind of backtalk or any of it. Like, it's just, and when I see it, I get on it. I'm not saying I'm perfect at it or anything like that, but I am very well aware, and I don't use the, oh, they're a teenager, oh, they're hormonal excuse. It's just not an excuse to treat someone poorly. And I have the excuse of stage 4 cancer, so I can go around and be a biatch to everyone then, right? No. I may have that. It does not have me. And I may create some things at times and snappiness, and then it's taking that responsibility, not making myself wrong for that, and really, truly loving myself enough to know that when I am being a crab or whatever, that it's not truly me. And so then I can be vulnerable enough and ask someone to please forgive me, or to just recognize that any ailment, anything that's going on, COVID, whatever, money loss, it's not an excuse to treat each other poorly. There is absolutely no excuse. And I have it that, well, I don't have it. I know for me that I have given people excuses after excuses. Oh, it's because of this and it's because of that. And it's because I didn't allow myself to speak up and say, hey, you know, I'm noticing a tone. This doesn't work. Like, what's going on? And go straight to it and open myself genuinely and be vulnerable with that person. And so it has really helped me become more authentic in myself, because I look at where do I abuse myself, and thus at times abuse others. And abuse to me is when you're actually cutting someone down. I know that most people look at it as being hit physically, where you see a bruise, but the internal bruises that I've created on myself and others and all that I've allowed to hurt me has definitely been a part of the reason that I have dealt with cancer. For sure, hands down. I know that. The emotional component. There's genetic, there's all sorts of components, but there is an emotional component of not loving myself that has contributed to cancer. And so anyway, that truth has set me free, and I am creating really dear, authentic, beautiful relationships that when someone is snippy with me, it's boom, like, hey, I'm noticing a tone, what's up? It's not that we're perfect and there's never a tone or anything. It's just an opportunity to love yourself enough to say, hey, this doesn't work, and it doesn't work for them. And once I started waking up that this wasn't good for my son, that I was allowing him because, oh, he's too tired, or oh, he's had too much sugar, or oh, blah, blah, blah. There is no excuse for this sort of behavior. There's reasons and there's things that contribute to it. And no excuse for that. And so it's just a truth that definitely set me free. And it was given to me by someone that really had real compassion for me and the lack of self-love that I gave to myself. And without her compassion, I wouldn't have heard the abrupt message. Oftentimes when people tell the truth, so to speak, they're judging you. And because they're judging you, you hear the judgment and then you completely miss that truth because you hear the judgment. So when someone has real compassion and love for you, unconditional love, and they're brave enough to say, hey, ba-ba-ba, it's amazing the gifts that can come out of that. So I hope that helps. Thanks, Day Gardens, for asking for clarification, and I love y'all. Bye.